Hello Janesville and welcome to JPAC Behind the Curtain. I'm your host Alan Luckett. I would like to welcome back the Education and Outreach Director for the Janesville Performing Arts Center, Jim McCulloch. Thank you, Jim, for coming back. This show highlights the events and programs happening at JPAC, right here in the heart of downtown Janesville. As with everything else during the unprecedented time of COVID-19, this program has been on a hiatus, along with a lot of programs and events at JPAC. But today we're back. What is the first thing we've got coming up? What can folks look forward to for the rest of the year as JPAC is, and how is JPAC really faring with these troubling times, and what kind of safety precautions is JPAC taking to address the COVID issues? So,
sure, let's start with that. Let's start with that. First of all, we have been making lots of plans on how we can reopen the center safely. We had a couple of successful programs this past summer that were very successful. We did a children's program, so we had to figure out how we could safely socially distance, as well as making it engaging and fun and that. So we were able to do that successfully. Now we're moving into the fall season. Now we are starting to move into more of our programming, our regular programming. Due to the pandemic, we've had to reschedule some of our events. Simply because the artists themselves are not going out on tour. Other ones were simply events that we didn't feel we could safely produce at the center in the current state that we're in. So we've had to go through our entire operating system and figure out how we can bring people into the auditorium safely. So what we've done, we've put several measures in place. Obviously, social distancing, we've reduced our box office hours, we've reduced any kind of contact that we would have with the patrons as they come in. So we put a video out. So if you're interested in seeing what the actual opening procedures are for when you have the JPAC experience, if you go to our website and you click onto that link, it'll show you the little video that we made this past summer, just showing what it's going to be like when you come back into JPAC from a patron's perspective. So it was kind of cute. We got a lot of really good feedback on that. But some of the precautions we've taken are, we have hand sanitizing stations throughout the entire building. We've limited our access to the bathrooms to just a few people at a time. We've staggered people's entrances and exits for when they come in. So our ticketing system is completely different. You can make the reservations. In fact, reservations are required for all of our events coming up in the next few months. There is no in-person at-the-door ticket sales, just to minimize contact. So once people come in, they're escorted up to the auditorium. All of our events, whether they're small or large, will all be taking place in the auditorium. We can seat 25% capacity is what we can seat right now, which in that auditorium, including the balcony, is 150 people. Will we have that many people in there? I don't know, but that's what we're legally allowed to have right now under the mandate. So we have some things that are coming up. People will go in, they'll sit at their seats. They'll be socially distanced in the auditorium, so they're 6 feet away from any other patrons that are in there. And masks are required once you're in your seat and you're seated and the performance begins. The masks, because of the Governor Evers mandate, actually your masks must be worn. And there is no bar service as of this time. We're trying to figure out a way we can get bar service back in there. But right now, we're just happy to have people come through the building and be able to enjoy some of the programming we have. Having said that, moving into the programming part of what we're able to do, we've canceled most of our stuff for September. October is when we're really starting to pick up things. Our resident groups usually take September and October as their own, for their own programming for their seasons. Due to the pandemic, both of our resident groups that have performances coming up in the fall season have decided to postpone them to a different time throughout the year, simply because they didn't feel that they would be able to adequately put the performance together to their satisfaction to get it safe and want to take that risk on it now. So they've decided to pull back a little bit. So as a result of that, JPAC has had to step in and try to fill in those gaps for programming, for the lost revenue that we'll be receiving from the lost rentals. And we've come up with actually a pretty good thing that incorporates the user groups into this program. So our first program we have coming up on the 10th of October is what we are calling JPAC and Friends Family Fall Fest. And what it is, it's a combination of all of our resident groups have put together 20 minutes or so of programming. So we have people coming in doing Broadway show tunes. Some people are doing some skits from past seasons that they've they've performed. I'm told there will be a reprise from the Lombardi script. So if you didn't get a chance to see that, you might see a version of Lombardi coming back for part of this. So it's a 2-hour event. It's all outside. We figure we try to program as much stuff outside before the winter comes. So we're going to be doing this in the park in between the library and the JPAC building. We've wanted to activate this park for some time, and we thought this was a great opportunity to work with the user groups, to put all of our talents together and come up with a really fun concert outside, socially distanced in pods. So if you've been down to the Marv for the Tuesday night concerts, we've kind of taken their model, so to speak, and done the same thing. So you'll call up JPAC if you're interested. It's a $10 ticket per person, and you'll be seated in pods. So it's pods of 2, 4, a maximum of 6 people will be in the pods. You're all socially distanced, and you can make the reservation. We've got concessions that'll be for sale out of the JPAC building. So we've got soda and some snacks and things like that that could be sold. And it's a fundraiser for the JPAC resident groups and JPAC to help us get through this. So that's our first real event that we're actually trying to get going right now with that. We've also got some other things. So October 9th, we've got our JPAC Improv Troupe. They've been performing throughout the summer at private events and things throughout the county. And this is our first seasonal show with the JPAC Troupe. They will be there on October 9th. Again, they'll be up in the main auditorium. People can get their tickets by calling the box office. And so that'll be our first event, our in-house event that weekend of those 2 events I just described to you. Moving on down into the rest of October, we've got events on the 17th, 18th, that following weekend. We've got our Piano Fondue, which is a very popular event we've had for the last year, a couple years actually. Again, we're going to try to do this one outdoors. So we're working with the artists. They come out of Madison. They've been working with us for quite some time. They're willing to come down to the Marv and perform an outdoor piano fondue on the 17th of October. Again, tickets are available for purchase at the box office. But it'd be a great time for people to come out. If you haven't had the piano fondue experience, it's actually quite a lot of fun. And I think being outdoors would even make it more fun. So it's kind of an outdoor festival, kind of a feeling. So we're hoping people will come out, support us on those events, the outdoor events especially. The 18th, we've got BJSO, and they will be performing I believe they're still in the auditorium. I've not heard anything other than that they will be changing on that. But that'll be a part of their regular season. So they have decided to go forward with their regular concert that they've got. And so that's still on the books. Again, call the box office for more information and details. Go to the following weekend. We've got several other things. Our first Comedy on Main will be coming up on the 24th of October. That'll be in the auditorium as well. The artists that we've got coming in, we usually don't know until probably a month out. And when we're recording this, we still don't have that information on the exact comedians that are coming out. But usually they are nationally known comedians. They're usually regional, so they're either out of Chicago. The latest ones will be coming out of Minneapolis. Family friendly for the most part. It's a strong PG-13. There's really not any harsh language, anything that is offensive. So they try to keep it relatively.
The kids haven't already heard.
That the kids already haven't heard. It's more for grandma probably. So, but again, that'll be up in the auditorium. That goes on the 24th of October. And then another program that we're installing right now is we're in the process of putting together. It's a Halloween Trail of Terror is what we're working title calling it now. It's more or less a haunt, a Halloween haunt. And it's not your traditional Halloween haunted house. This is going to be more of an opportunity for small, socially distanced people that make reservations. They come in every 10 minutes, 15 minutes. We have a tour that'll start. So it's a tour that'll take you through the mind of a madman and the madman in different chambers of what he's got going on. So there's going to be different theatrical scenes, monologues from famous literature, different stories, some original stories that deal with Halloween, with the macabre, with just madness and kind of getting into the spookiness of the season. We've got some scenes from Macbeth. So it's more of a walking tour to see some theatrical performances, as well as some spooky stuff too. Along with that, we've got a pumpkin carving contest. So if you come to the program on the 10th out at the library park, we will be selling pumpkins for you to take home, bring them back carved or decorated, or however you want to do that. We will display them in our Halloween haunt People can vote on them. And as an added bonus to that, people that are purchasing a pumpkin will also be able to purchase tickets to our final Halloween weekend. It's a showing of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, and that'll be up in the big theater. So that'll be on November 1st, 2 o'clock. So if people want to come in, they can come in on that last day after they carve their pumpkins. They get a ticket to the movie. They can come in, see the movie, still be able to go through the haunt, because the haunt will still be set up for that weekend, and just have a nice little experience. We've got some Harry Potter themed things going on, and still trying to work out the little details for that. So lots of things that are happening in October, some amazing things considering we're in the middle of a pandemic. We have tried our best to make sure that all of our events are as safe as we possibly can. The performers will be masked for the social distancing. Audience members are masked. We've taken as many precautions as we can. We simply need to be able to safely open something and say that we're trying. Is everything we do working? Is it going to be a success? We don't know. We've never had this kind of a challenge before, and it has been challenging, but I think we're up for it. And I think the audiences, if they give it a try and come out and see what we're trying to do, I think they're going to feel a little better, a little safer, a little more appreciative that we've taken these extra measures to make sure that we still can entertain people. Because if we don't try something as an arts organization, we're going to be dead in the water if we don't try something. After we get done with this pandemic, we need to be relevant in the community. We need to stay afloat. So please come out and support JPAC and all of the arts organizations in the area in any way you can, whether that's in person, whether it's through some of our virtual performances, which is another thing that was successful during the lockdown this last spring. We were able to do virtual concerts. So we put them up on our Facebook page. We had artists coming in from literally all over the place, because we didn't have to have them in the theater, so we could hook into their technology and bring virtual concerts. And that's been something that was successful, and we've decided we're going to keep that. So that's something that came out of this pandemic that was actually kind of good. So we're able to find some new avenues for programming for future things. So thinking out of the box is what it's been all about for JPAC for the last few weeks and months.
Now, there's also some other, outside of programming, there's also some other offerings like a VIP cinema. Can you tell us
VIP
about
cinemas, we just started that in the middle of September, and this came from just a brainstorming session, and we're all coming up with different ideas. And this was an idea of, why not rent out our theater? We have a projector, we have a huge movie screen, we have a large auditorium. So we're going to give people the experience. Instead of staying home and watching Netflix all the time, we're going to get people out. So we're going to rent out our auditorium for a movie night. So people bring in their own DVD, their own Blu-ray. So we're not doing any kind of, it's a private rental basically. You can rent out our facility for a group of 8 people or less. We have living room furniture that we've borrowed from Best Events. They've given us the opportunity to have a complete living room set that's able to be sanitized, moved in any kind of configuration in between showings. We provide a couple bags of popcorn, soda, water. We have an alcohol package if you wish, if you'd like some beer and wine. We also offer that. And it's a private party. So you come in, bring your movie, bring your friends. We have everything laid out for you up there. You just start the movie and sit in the stage, and it's a movie night. So we've got different packages. We've got your base package, which is popcorn and soda. We've also got our pizza package. So if you want to upgrade, you can have a pizza package. We've got 2 medium pizzas and a large order of breadsticks. And a movie, and the same kind of amenities, plus the popcorn, soda, and the alcohol add-ons if you wish. And then we've also got another option for, it's a custom, build your own. So if you want a date night, if you want a private dinner party, we're willing to work with you. We'll work with different restaurants that you want to order out. We will go pick it up. It's very easy, very safe. You just call in the order, reserve it. We go do all the legwork. We have it all set up for you. You just show up and enjoy yourself and bring the movie. So for a VIP base package, it's $100, 3.5-hour rental. We don't want Lord of the Rings, the Hobbit 4-hour movie, director's cut. So we try to limit it to 2.5 hours. And we pretty much leave you alone. It's a private setting. You're in your own private living room on the JPAC stage watching a big movie of your choice. So it's been really successful. In our first week, we've sold over 5, just without really advertising it too much. So we look for this to be a very popular event that's coming up. Limited time, we'll be running this through the end of November. Any day of the week, we have a matinee offering or an evening offering. So if you have more information, want more information about that, just call JPAC and we can set you up with all of the details, or go to our website or our Facebook page, and that's got all the details spelled out with the prices and everything. But it's pretty exciting. So that's another way that we're trying to stay relevant in the community and just using our facility and using what we have to get us through this.
Yeah, and I suppose the facilities can still be checked out for other events and fundraisers and such.
Yep, we can rent it out for, there's lots of things. If there's public meetings, if there's different occasions or parties or events or things like that you're interested, we are available for private rentals. There are some restrictions and some things that need to be gone over, but give us a call and we're certainly willing to work with anybody on their event.
Now, you were mentioning that the residents that are usually occupying JPAC in the fall are going kind of on a hiatus. Do they have any kind of plan? Is it see how it happens? I mean,
their plan for right now is they just don't feel that they can comfortably and efficiently do productions right now. They have not canceled their entire season. I should clarify that. To be clear, they have not canceled. They have just canceled their events for September and October. There's one that goes into November. It's over that last week. Those are the only things that have been canceled. They are still planning on doing their spring season. So once the holidays are over, we move into January. As you well know, we could be in a completely different situation by then. So I think they're like us, just taking it kind of 1 week at a time, sometimes 1 day at a time. But to do some long-range planning, we're kind of keeping it a couple months out at a time and just reevaluating as we need to, which is all we really can do right now. So they're excited. They still want their performers, their actors, their technical people. They still want them to stay involved with stuff, so that's why they're trying to help us out with these other events that I described to you about, our Halloween walk, the concert that's out on the park out here. We are also looking at doing some sort of a Christmas something. It's a little far out, but we do have plans for some kind of a Christmas walk as well. It would be indoors, same as the Halloween walk. It would be indoors, but there's not large crowds. There's only going to be maybe 10 or 15 people in the entire building at one given time. So we're being very conscientious about that and how we plan this out and meticulously map it out so people are socially distanced and are not exposed to large crowds of people standing in line outside. That's why we're going to make reservations. So it's like going to a golf course and getting your tee time. Every 15 minutes your tee time goes off. Every 15 minutes we have a tour that starts.
Now, I know you have the summer children's kind of abbreviated theater.
Summer shorts.
Summer shorts. Is there anything planned in the near future with the education, with classes and such?
Yes, we have decided that for the classes, we're going to do a combination of classes where they're going to be in person and virtual. So we have options that way. All of our classes are socially distanced. When we did our summer program, I sat down and made out a chart. If you can have kids in the building with you face to face, if they're masked, not singing, but doing acting scenes or some kind of monologues or some small person interaction, we can do that if we socially distance. So what I did is I made little grids. So they've got little pods inside the building that are all 7 feet apart. They're 7 foot by 7 foot squares, 7 feet apart from anybody else. Once the kid gets to their square, that is their home for the hour and a half that they're in class. We work with them that way. And then what we do is when we get the material ready to go, we have been generously through JATV, we've been able to record these performances so we can put them out virtually to the parents, so the parents are able to see what the kids have been working on. So we do have a number of classes that we're offering starting in October, in-person classes that are small group. There are no more than 8 children to a class at any given time. The classes are staggered, so there's no more children crossing over with each other in between. And so we've got our Acting 1 and Acting 2 classes for our different age groups that we're doing. We also have our improv class that's taught by Ron Brown. He's decided to come back again. Small groups, they'll be doing more improv games, socially distanced, word games, play games, things like that. We've also got our one virtual class that we've got going right now is, it's the Three Piggy Opera is what it's called, but it's our mini musical. That will be done completely virtual, and that'll be by Vicki Neitzel, and that's for 1st through 4th grade. That'll be done virtual, so the kids will get their scripts. We'll be able to practice with them via Zoom or Google Meets. so virtually. And then the one thing we'll have to do is bring them in individually to record their parts, so we can have it all edited for post-production and then put it together as a full performance. How that's all going to work out, we're not sure. It's the first time we've done something virtual, but it's very doable. And with the technology and all the kids are getting used to working with that kind of technology now. We're going to give it a try and see what we can do. So it is singing, but they're not in person singing. They're singing in their own houses. So those are our classes that we've got offered for the fall semester. Another class that I've got offered is Monologues One. So it's a virtual thing where kids will pick out different monologues from different plays or different things that they want to work on. Maybe it's original stories that they've written. They will work one-on-one with the instructor to give them kind of private acting lessons, so to speak. And then we will record them and put that together in some kind of a virtual performance so they can have something to show their parents and hopefully, you know, grandmas and grandpas that are across the country, that we can put this on some kind of a virtual platform to put out there for the audiences to look at. They're all things that we're trying. Whether it be successful or not, time will tell. But like I said, we just have to find a way to stay relevant in the community. And I think we're being successful with it, as well as being safe. And I understand people not wanting to come out and support that right now. Completely understand that. But we have to give some kind of choices out there for people that want to try something. So that's what we've got.
Well, great. Well, thanks for coming in today and giving us an update. I mean, is there anything else you can think of that we might not have
Support the arts. Support the arts groups. Support everybody that's out there. It's tough right now for everybody. And if you can, reach out to your different performing arts groups and ask them if there's something you can do to help. Is there anything? You know, we all have to be in this together. So
yeah,
we're trying. But yeah, it's going to be a wild ride, and we're prepared for it.
Well, thanks, Jim, for being here. And you heard it, JPAC's back in action, being cautious and wanting to make sure that they can have their programming moving forward, because I know that this community is starving for arts, and JPAC's a great place. Thanks for tuning in today. Please check out JPAC and all the wonderful programs they've designed for these challenging times at their website, or give them a call. Whether you are participating in person or checking out a virtual program, consider supporting the Janesville Performing Arts Center. Tell your family and friends. I know they would appreciate it. Thanks again, Jim, for joining me today to give us a peek at what's going on behind the curtain of the big stage there at JPAC. I look forward to seeing these programs in the fall. And for JPAC Behind the Curtain and JATVMedia Services, I'm Alan Luckett, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.